because it's on the. Good morning, Mountain House. Welcome. This is Brian Harrison of Mountain House Matters, and we are here today at the Zatex studio with none other than our mayor-elect, Dr. Andy Sue. Good morning, Andy. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on and doing this with us today. First of all, I want to say congratulations to
Thank
all
you.
the people of Mountain House, really, as residents of the new city, but specifically congratulations to you as our first mayor-elect and the new city council.
Thank you.
It's pretty big news. This election marks a truly historic milestone in the growth and ongoing development of Mountain House. There's no getting around that. But before we get too much into all of that, I'd like to just start with a little background on where you come from and how you ended up here.
All right. Well, took a few years, but I actually was born in Taiwan and I immigrated back in 1980. So I've been here a long time. I grew up in Southern California and went to UCLA for undergrad. And then I went back east to Emory University in Atlanta for med school. I liked Atlanta, but I decided to come back to California to do my residency at Stanford. And then after that, I initially lived in San Jose for a couple of years, but moved to Mountain House in 2004. So I've been here ever since.
Since really the start of town.
Yeah.
Do you know which house you were? Some people know they were first in the neighborhood, or
We actually,
did you do a lottery, or did you just? was that going on
we're
there?
actually friends with the first family that moved in, the Francis family, but I think when we moved in, there were probably 800 people. So I really don't know what number we were, but we were lucky in that there was no lottery because one of the houses was somebody won the lottery, but they somehow didn't get funding. So it kind of got kicked back in the queue. And then I walked in that Saturday and they said, "Hey, we have this house."
Wow.
And I looked at it. I liked it. I brought Lisa out and 6 days later we bought the house. So
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It was like destiny.
yeah, because I think back then there were probably 200-300 people in the lottery every time they released 6 houses and then 300 people are waiting. So we were kind of lucky.
So that was 2004.
Yeah,
So you've seen lots of growth, lots of changes.
yeah,
You've seen all of the villages being built, really.
yep.
You're known for many things. Coaching has been a big part of your life, I know. Besides, obviously you're a doctor, emergency room physician, and you run the stroke unit at the hospital as well.
Yeah.
But your passion seems to be in coaching. So,
Yeah, I enjoy working with kids, and it really started because back in 2015, one of my kids wanted to play basketball at Wickland, and they couldn't find any coaches. So I actually had never coached basketball before, but growing up playing basketball, watching a lot of basketball, so I stepped in and I coached for 6 years at Wickland, both the JV and varsity girls teams, and I had a lot of fun. And then in 2018, when my oldest Aaron went to high school, I actually coached golf for a year as an assistant coach. And then after that, the tennis coach had some family issues and quit 2 days before the season started. So the first athletic director, Lavinia Woods, knew that we were friends, and she knew that I had been ranked in the state before and was a semi-pro tennis player. So she asked me to pick up the tennis team, and since my daughter was on there, I was like, sure. So we started, and I'm very proud of what the teams have accomplished. I initially picked up the girls team, and then 2 years later, I picked up the boys team. And these two teams combined have won a total of, I'm going to count once, 8 league championships. Of course, the boys team is going to win the league championship next week. So we'll have won a total of 9 league championships in the, actually, no, I miscount. Girls have 6 and the boys have 5. So by next week, we will have won 11 league championships.
wow.
And the two tennis teams are also the only teams in Mountain House High School. You probably already know this, that have won the sectional championship. The boys and the girls each won one back in 2021-22. So very proud of the accomplishments. I love working with the kids, and I hope to continue to do that in the future.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
The boys went to a pretty, what sounded like a pretty simple, easy win yesterday. Even.
Yeah, I didn't mention this, but the since we joined this league back in 2018, actually I'll start back when I first took over the team in 2018. We were moving up from Division 5 to Division 4. So I gave this famous speech. The girls from 6 years ago will remember this. That the first day of practice, I said, we're going up to a much bigger league, bigger schools. And, if we go 0-14, it's okay. Just do your best. And the funny thing is we went the opposite way. The girls won 80 league matches in a row without losing any. And the boys are 53-0 right now. So combined 133-0 since we joined the league.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And in the mix of all that, was it 2021, 22 that you were named statewide coach of the year?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Again, I try.
I know you don't like to talk about it.
I don't talk about my individual accomplishments too much, but yeah, twice I was named the section coach of the year, and then in 2020 and 21 I was named the state coach of the year. But
that's a great accomplishment.
Yeah,
and it
thank you.
speaks to what you've been able to do with the kids.
Yeah, I think I think it just helps that I have a lot of passion and I love working with the kids, and when I dedicate myself to something, I give it 110%. It's so.
And I've seen some of the matches, and one of the things I was struck by with your girls that went really far was that they didn't seem overpowering. They just kept the ball in play and let the other players make a lot of the mistakes.
Yeah, we focus on different strategies, and
Depends on who you have. I'm
yeah,
sure.
it depends on the players. The boys teams tend to be a little bit more overpowering, but yeah.
So the other level of sports has obviously been the Mountain House Flag Football Organization, which you sort of got roped into starting, I believe.
Yeah. Back in 2009, when my kids were all tiny and not really playing any sports yet, long-term resident Susan Patterson, I don't know if you remember her.
I know Susan, yeah.
Yeah, she asked me to, because I had been elected to the CSD board in 2008, she asked me to help run this flag football league because she didn't want her kids to play tackle football. And initially I was like, that's going to take a lot of time. But she talked to me for several weeks, and finally I said, sure, I'll do it. And that was 15 years ago. And we started flag football in 2009 with 80 kids. And every year we've grown. And I think after 6 years, we got to 480 kids. At that point, we decided we weren't going to continue to grow because we wanted to focus on quality. And we also didn't want to take all the fields in Mountain House. We wanted other sports to have a chance to get their practices in. So we've capped it at 480 for the last 9 years. But it's flag football has been very popular. One of the best things about the Flag Football League is that I think it's brought a lot of families together. I'm best friends with Stephanie Olsen, who I met through flag football. Her two oldest sons were in the league the first year. And, over the last 15 years, we became best friends. And I know hundreds of families that are now best friends and, because of flag football.
It just brings people together.
Yeah. And then in 2012, a lot of parents asked us to start a cheer program, which we did. So 2012, we added cheer, but then I skipped ahead. 2011 and both in 2011, we actually added the Mountain House Tennis Club and the Mountain House Golf Club. So, and then after that, we added cheer. And then in 2023, we added the Mountain House Sailfish Swim Club. It was Stephanie Olsen's idea to start that, but we added it to the nonprofit so things would get started earlier, and that's by far the most popular program in Mountain House. I think last year we had over 1,500 participants in the swim club and lessons and the swim club.
And the competitive team.
Yeah,
too.
the competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had Stephanie on for
Yeah.
a nice interview, so she talked a lot about that. And I, so what you effectively did was you created a nonprofit association that all of these different sports could roll into.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, you know this, but in addition to all these different leagues, we also run activities like we did the kite run for several years. We had this Royal Affair. Do you remember that for the
that was
princess
fun.
events for
That
3
was
years?
right here in this building.
Yeah, and then we also, for the last 10 years, I've been the MC for the Mountain House Halloween Parade, and that's a huge event too. I think 2 years ago we had 1,500 kids go through, and you know, in the winter we have the house decorating contest. We have the creek treasure hunts. We try to do a lot of things to get get people out of the house and things to do.
Build community.
Yeah, build community basically.
No,
yeah. So
It's good stuff.
yeah.
And you do the photo contest on the
That's right. On the
Mountain House
Facebook.
page.
Yeah, that's under the nonprofit too, actually. So we do all of it. Part of the nonprofit, and again, one of the unique things with our nonprofit, which some nonprofits pay their officers and board members, but we've done for the last 15 years, all of the board members have been doing this as volunteers. So just to try to bring more value to the programs.
because it's all about community.
Yeah, it's
And really, it seems that your service on the Community Services District Board has been really about giving back and
Yeah.
serving the community. So, for those who don't know, initially the Community Services District was run by the county.
yeah,
The county board of supervisors would change hats in the middle of a meeting and be the
Yeah.
CSD.
yeah.
And it wasn't until you just clarified for me this morning that it wasn't until we had 1,000 registered voters that we were allowed to have our own elected, locally elected neighborhood people get onto the board.
Yeah, there were in 2007. I think when we got close to 1,000 registered voters, the CSD actually formed a independence committee, or some sort of. I forgot the name of the committee, but actually I was on that committee, and of course we wanted to push forward and get representation, local representation for Mountain House. So in 2008 we had our first election, and were you here then?
I didn't get here until 2009.
You were, yeah. It was a little bit before you, but that first election, 18 people ran for the board. So there was a lot of interest in helping the community, and of course I was I was one of the 5 that was elected, and that was the beginning.
Yeah, we got here in 2009, and then 2010 we kind of clued into some of the local stuff going on, and we tried to immerse ourselves in what was going on with the community and
Yeah,
learn.
yeah.
It's you're starting a town from nothing, and for the local board to take over is a pretty big deal, really.
Yeah, and it was actually, as you guys, most people remember, that was a challenging time. 2008, 2009 was the worst recession in the last 100 years. And and Mountain House was famously in the New York Times as the most underwater town in the country because, again, it was the newest town, and a lot of people bought houses at this price. And when all the home values dropped, it dropped below what their mortgage was worth. So, we became the most underwater town, and a lot of people predicted that we would fail. So those initial years were challenging. Some people probably think. Some people that were not around back then probably think it was all cakewalk, hunky dory, but no, we struggled those first few years to just survive. Because I remember when the first budget session, we were in the red, and I'm very much most people who know I'm fiscally conservative, and I wanted to try to balance the budget that first year, and it was tough because there were things that I wanted to cut that there was a lot of pushback. So.
And there were so many foreclosures, and
Yeah, it was hard.
You
Yeah.
weren't getting the revenue from the special taxes. And
Exactly.
everything.
So eventually, over the next few years, we did get the budget balance, which is good. But building a town is challenging.
Even now,
Yeah, probably more now.
probably more now. So, really, what I'd like to hear, and I think a lot of people would like to hear, is what motivated you in the first place to run for mayor. You
For
said there were
mayor.
18. I'm sorry
For the board.
for the board
Yeah, actually,
in 2008.
funny story. I told you this, of course, a couple of days ago, but what motivated me really was boredom and a desire to kind of help serve the community. When in 2007 2008 we had 3 little kids in diapers, and every night was Disney movies until they went to sleep, and then Lisa and I would watch Netflix shows every night, and I just thought, wow, is this what people do every night? And some of these shows are terrible. I won't even name them. But so when this opportunity came up to run for the board, I was like, I'm going to do something more productive with my life. So that was the beginning.
Was there something that enabled you to be one of the 5, you think, that over the 18 that were initially?
I don't know. I mean, I think being a physician, people tend to, respect the profession and trust, that I'm doing things with integrity and, trying to make good decisions for the town. So, yeah, like most people back then knew I came in first that election. And
You've come in first every election.
yeah,
right?
so far. Yeah.
So you've run in like 5 elections?
5 elections. Yeah.
Yeah. So that says something too.
Yeah.
So in a similar vein, when it came time to looking at cityhood, was it just a natural extension to run for mayor, or was there a driving force that made you feel like you should be the one?
Well, again, I of course feel like the mayor is a very important position going forward. It's the leadership position for the new city, and I value experience like many people. And in this case, I have served on the CSD board for 15 and a half years, and I have the most experience running this town. So yeah, like you said, it's a natural extension to want to continue to serve in that position. And I just wanted to continue to serve the people of Mountain House.
And yet you ran a really low-key campaign. You didn't have multiple signs and banners everywhere, some yard signs.
Yeah, we did some yard signs.
And you did some personal appearance stuff, and you spoke in our candidate discussions and the other ones that were held and such. And yet you won with almost 63% of the vote.
Yeah.
So one could say that gives you a clear mandate for moving forward. And I guess what I'm curious is to what does that mandate look like, not just as we prepare to launch the new city, but moving forward toward build out?
I don't know anything about a mandate, but I'm honored that I was selected, and I'm gonna work hard with the rest of the city council and staff and the residents to try to continue to build out Mountain House the best we can.
I'm sure we can delve a lot more into more of the details of those kinds of things. As Monday night, we're going to have a Zoom at the last board meeting.
Yeah.
There were a lot of public comments. It went on for like an hour talking about a lot of stuff, and you offered up to do a town hall meeting.
Right.
So we are going to do that on Zoom on Monday at 7:30, and we'll put the link to it. You've already put it out there.
I put it on the Facebook already, yeah.
So you guys can find it. You can get on the Zoom, and I was speaking with Khalid. We can also live stream it onto the Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And so people will be able to ask questions,
right,
and have you delve into stuff. Yeah, I really felt like the other night could have been much more about the celebration of the victory of becoming a city and the new city council and all that. So maybe we'll see some more of that. And, if people want to call in here or text in on the live stream, then, maybe you can share some of your thoughts about that. So, from your perspective, what does cityhood mean for the average resident of Mountain House versus what we've always been previous to this as an unincorporated part of San Joaquin County?
Well, for the new city council and mayor, it means more responsibilities, and we get to do more. We can control land use and zoning. But for the average resident, I hope it brings them a sense of pride being part of this great city. And we'll continue to make it even better.
There have been concerns and people saying that taxes will go up, and what about sales taxes and all of that kind of thing? But
taxes may go up just like any other, but it requires a vote of the people, other than the special taxes. If we're going to create any new taxes, the residents would have to agree, just like in other cities.
You have had a longstanding policy against increasing the special taxes. That's been kind of a theme that you've run on and made apparent
Yeah.
all along. How do you square that with the need to provide more services and giving staff what they need to grow?
Well, I'm always going to be for lower taxes and more efficiency. Although as a leader going forward, compromise is part of leadership. So I'll work with the rest of the city council and staff and do what we think is best for the town.
In efficiency, you've always told me before that it's about having the staff be efficient at what they do.
Yeah, I mean, this just doesn't just apply to government, but I feel like any big corporation, big company, any organization, that
Your
gets
hospital.
hospitals, it's when you get to a certain size, there's always inefficiencies and always ways to do things better. So, obviously, things are always easier when you have more money, but what is challenging is trying to do things better without more money. So we actually at the hospital, we do this thing called the Kaizen, which is a Japanese word for, making small improvements. We have these Kaizens regularly to focus on a topic and try to improve that topic. So I think every organization can do stuff like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What changes do you, if any, do you expect to see in the new city's relationship with the developers in town?
Well, after July 1st, we will have, land use zoning powers. We're going to be working with the developers a lot closer. Before July 1st, they were working with the county. So we really don't have any powers over zoning right now. But after July 1st, we should hopefully work a lot closer together.
And that'll involve developing a planning commission, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's the goal. One of the first goals is to set up our own planning commission because it's a lot of work, so we'll have to select some good people.
We talked a little bit about the town hall that you offered that up. What do you hope to bring to that town hall on Monday, and what do you hope that will achieve?
Well, I think I think it's nice that a lot of people are interested in some of the issues now, but unfortunately, some of the information out there is not always the correct information. So I just hope to bring some basic information to the people and help them understand some of the issues that we are faced with, and try to address some questions. And I've throughout the last few months during the election season, I've already talked to several residents and that had questions and that asked me directly. But of course, I feel like it would be more efficient if I could answer the same question to 50 people instead of one at a time. So that's why we came up with this idea of a town hall to answer the same, to answer the question once instead of 50 separate times.
Right.
Yeah.
You can reach more people.
Exactly.
And more people have an open opportunity to be part of it.
Exactly.
So, well, as our new mayor, which will be effective July 1st. Right now, you're still a member,
board member, yeah.
Board member. What would you like to convey to our now nearly 30,000 residents?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm just honored to be selected, and and you remember during the campaign, I didn't promise very much, but the only promise I will make is that I will work hard with the rest of the city council staff and work with the residents to try to build Mountain House out as great as we can make it. So,
and really, your years of experience will help guide that along.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're coming from nothing.
Yeah, I really, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I value experience. I think experience makes you smarter, makes you make better decisions. So, don't have to relearn certain things.
So a lot of the issues that I know are going to come up on Monday, we're not even going to try to delve into here today because we could be here for a long time. But I really wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate you and convey the overall enthusiasm that people voted over 90% to
Yeah.
become a city. I was at an event where our general manager, Steve Pinkerton, was saying that there was one time when he was, I think, in the county or city of Manteca or somewhere, where they had a measure that won by 84%. And he thought even that was
Yeah.
unbelievable. And so to have almost everybody in town vote for cityhood
Yeah.
says we're ready, I guess.
90% is really unheard of. And yeah, it means we're ready and probably been ready for a while. So I'm glad we're moving forward, and I hope to continue to contribute and help the city grow.
We had a couple of little clips we were going to run. Khalid, are we set up with any of those? Can you do the elected one? We made this little video of before the election was certified, but it applies. One of the things that amazed me was throughout the releasing of the information over the month that the election results were being put out there was that the trending was consistent. It didn't change.
Oh yeah, from
It
the
just-
first day.
Yeah, I mean, we could have called the election the first night because the numbers really didn't change.
Yeah.
They went up together.
Yeah, that's very consistent over the years.
Yeah. Does it have sound? Yeah, the sound's not there.
Okay.
Well, there he is, the first mayor of Mountain House.
All right. that was the clip.
That wasn't all the clip, but the sound wasn't there. It had a whole sound thing. So we'll see if we can come back to that.
Okay.
So my understanding is that in the weeks to come, before we get to July 1st, there's going to be a series of planning meetings, planning training sessions
Yeah,
to
training
help get the new board,
the new city
council,
council.
the new
Yeah,
city
right.
council up there. I got to get used to saying that.
Yeah, I know. 15 years.
Yeah. Up to speed so that when we hit July 1st, we can hit the ground running. And I know that there's lots of documents and different things that have to be changed over, and it's going to be a big deal. But those sessions are open to the public, I believe, and maybe people can tune in.
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's probably a Steve Pinkerton question.
Well, I did talk about it. He said that, yeah, it has to be an open session.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be like a board meeting, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but 4 of the 5 city council mayors elected all have CSD experience. So I think the
That's
people,
going to help a lot.
I think the people value experience. The new candidates always say new ideas. New ideas. In the end, I think people value the experience that we have, and Bernice, our director Tingo, and I have 15 and a half years of experience each, so that's 31 years. And then Director Disco and Director Harrison have been on the board also. So I think the experience will help us.
If nothing else, it gives you a strong foundation of experience and knowledge,
Right.
and then new ideas can come in on top of that. Right?
Yeah, and really, new ideas don't have to come from the city council. They can come from the residents, and then you have the experience to digest it and make the best decision with it. So
Within a representative democracy.
exactly,
I
yeah,
think that's something that sometimes gets lost, that people don't realize or don't recognize, that they elect their officials to represent them.
right.
And if they don't like that, they elect somebody else.
Yeah, we do not, and this would be so inefficient. If we had to ask 30,000 people every time we wanted to do something, every time we voted on something, we have to ask 30,000 people to vote. That would be incredibly inefficient.
And you can get their input before decisions are made. and-
Exactly. Anybody who's interested can help give us input and help us make the decisions, but it would be very inefficient to try to ask everybody every time.
Yeah.
So,
Do we have that, Khalid? I think you have to download it from the site.
are we still live? Technical difficulty.
This is the way our live stream goes. Okay. All right.
Picture of Mountain
If
House.
I remember what I said on there, it's the city of Mountain House is established as of July 1st. Our first ever mayor will be Andy Sue, sitting here with us today, and also elected to the city council, our current president of the Mountain House CSD board, Matt Disco, and previous member of the CSD board, Dan Harrison. He was president, I think, in 2017, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And Bernice Tingle, who's been on the board the whole way with Andy, 15 plus years. The Bernice and Ronna Green, a newcomer to the council, to the board. She has been a longtime resident of Mountain House. She and Bernice got the fewer of the 4 city council member votes, so they will have 2-year terms, and the Mr. Disco and Mr. Harrison will have 4-year terms. So then once the election in 2026 goes, all 4 of the council members, as well as the mayor, will have 4-year terms, and it'll just be staggered that way. Pictures of Town Hall, big development. We are live here in the old CSD boardroom at the Zaytec studio, and you're looking at a picture of the Town Hall and library in the new complex. So that's an example of the growth of Mountain House. It doesn't happen overnight. We're building a town from nothing. There's a long way yet to go, and lots of issues to contend with. So you guys will have your work cut out for you, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I tend to agree with you that to have people that are experienced in the mix can help everybody sleep better at night.
Yep.
So I thank you for being here today. I think that's probably all we have, unless you want to say anything further.
No. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. And we'll look forward to the town hall Zoom
It's Monday night.
Monday night at 7:30.
Perfect.
You can find that right here on the Mountain House Matters Facebook page and or our YouTube channel, and tell your friends, and come have your voices heard. It should be an interesting time. Thanks for being here with us today, and we will see you Monday at 7:30. Have a great weekend.